Hi, I'm Katy Jean, and I'm here today at Christ Church Cemetery in Dartmouth. Um, Not as beautiful as a day as it's been. It's getting October. There's a hurricane coming. Well, not for us. Is the hat going to make it? We don't know if it's going to make it. If she goes, she goes, you know? We're going with the flow, literally. But I'm in Christ Church Cemetery, and I have a stack today. Because I meant to do this as a follow-up to Alexander Keith, but my printer ran out of ink. But she's free now. There's a caretaker in back of me. He's thumping on something, and that's just happening. Back to my stack. The Oland family. Many of them are buried at Christ Church Cemetery. This is the first one. The Sidney Oland, he was kind of not the end, but the end-ish of the Olands dynasty. He's buried in Sackville. Maybe we'll visit him later. The death records only go to 1972, and I believe he died in 1977. So I wouldn't have his death record. It's not public information, like everything is from the Nova Scotia Archives. Anywho, Susanna Oland is the one that started Olands. This is her son Conrad, and he actually was killed at the factory during the Halifax explosion. The factory was just about underneath the McDonald Bridge-ish. Nobody actually knows like the actual footprint of it. They kept building on and on and on. But right now it's being excavated for something else, not because it's Olands, but the area. If you want to know where it is and you're going over the bridge and you see an excavator, that's where Olands was supposed to be. Susanna's son was working there during the explosion and was killed. And he has 2 death records. This is seen sometimes if there's 2 informants, you know, both his mother and his wife, say, informed the province of a death. And I almost wish I wasn't wearing my mic because you might be able to hear it. But with the Halifax explosion, you actually see that more often because, you know, a lot of people died. Their work might have said they died. Police may have identified the body. And then after, or as well, a mother, a wife, a brother, whoever, also informed of the death. And 1917, the paperwork was a bit chaotic. You know, we had corpses. But this happens with Conrad. So I have a stack, so just be patient with me. I think I organized them. There's not much information here. It's just his name, the date, age, and killed in the explosion. But the next one, you can see this is an actual informing of the death. His cause of death isn't really killed in explosion suddenly. He was working as a manufacturer, and I always like this about Olands is they always call it Turtle Grove instead of Tufts Cove. Like they would say it's Turtle Grove and then have to say it's at Tufts Cove. This man is working today. What's interesting about Conrad, though, is his wife, Isabel. She died just a month before him. Isabel, November 6, 1917, so to the month, she died before Conrad. And, yes, chronic Bright's disease, so that's to do with the kidneys. What's interesting is that they lived on Ochterlony Street, but I'm not sure where I could find it. But yeah, so that's Susanna's son. We're going to move on to the other tombs now. He's alone over here. I'm not exactly sure. I know that it looks just like I thought it was on the back, but it's not. It's interesting that they never used that. Well, all right, let's go to the next one. I saw the picture of it. It's really unassuming. It's brown. Now there's a you'd think it's like really regal looking because Keith has such an excessive one, but It's not. You wouldn't even know it was there. I want to ask someone for help. Oh, a butterfly. Look at that, a monarch. Oh, hey, guy. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, look. Can you see him? I don't know. Floating away. Take me to Susanna. Sweetie. Beautiful. This tripod is heavy. Oh, look, a Wenzel. We talked about a Wenzel yesterday. Alright, okay. The heck? Oh, a Chittick. I wonder if they're who the road's named after. And this is how you collect death records, by asking, what happened to that guy? 1 second. Alright, 1 second. Whew. Where is my tripod? Oh, there it is. Over there. I found Susanna. Eisner. I wonder if that's the woman with the black heart. Oh my god! It is! I'm not even kidding. I did not set that up. Oh, I had to double check, but she's the heart lady. Funny, that's weird. We're gonna try the hat again. I like the hat. You know, it's not like my big hat. What's my? We're not doing the hat. We're not fine. All right. So we found Susanna and George and a whole collection of Olands. You would never know. Like when you think of Keith's grave, that's like a tourist destination. These are the people that made Olands. Not only Olands, schooner, moosehead. So what happened was, after the deaths of Susanna, Conrad, George, 2 brothers separated. Some stayed in Halifax and some went to New Brunswick. New Brunswick kept making Olands. The ones that stayed in Halifax, they made Moosehead after they bought back up. Brewery blew up. To rebuild, they coupled with a British corporation of some sort, ended up buying them out. When they bought them out, they went from being a different name to Moosehead. So Moosehead is Olands. Just like, you know, they're all very similar. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. So this is George. George died of heart issues and hepatitis, cirrhosis, bronchitis. There's not much George didn't die of. You know, who can blame him? He was an Oland. They were basically royalty. And actually, George died at 316 Barrington Street. Now, in the 60s, Barrington Street, all of Halifax, changed their civic numbering system. And he actually bought the Moran House. That was the house of a mining company. He bought it after the death of the family. And it was said, like, if anyone were to live in such a house, that it would be basically royalty. And the Olands were. They're not so much anymore. After the explosion, really, it all went downhill. Like, they kept trying to get back from it, but they never did. I mean, they're still obviously filthy rich, but most. Anyway, this George, he died of a whole collection of things. He likely lived a good life. He likely drank well, ate well, and didn't have to do much physical labor. His job is listed as a brewer. And Sidney, his brother, who also lived on Barrington Street, same address, was his informant. Now, Sidney Oland, like I said, he's in Sackville, but he's the one that built the Blue Nose, because on the schooner cans, it's the Blue Nose. And he basically was like, well, why don't we, like, this would be fun for everyone. Why don't we rebuild the Blue Nose, and it'll be like the schooner can? You know, millions, tens of millions of dollars later, and it's a Nova Scotian icon. Our Nova Scotia icon is a beer ad. We are the beer t-shirt of icons. Neat. Anyway, moving on. I love the Olands. This is my favorite beer. I know a lot about the Olands. Sometimes you'll see in the Nova Scotia Archives, people that died out of province for whatever reason, they needed it recorded here. It happens, but they don't always. So I cheated with this one, and I used one of my paid subscription services to get Susanna Oland, my idol. I love this woman. I love you. I love you. I love you. She made Olands. A woman made Olands. She made her October brew in her backyard shed, and someone said, hey, you could sell this. And she started to, until she started building a brewery, which built more breweries, and a huge, huge, huge brewery. Like, she started Olands. And that's why when people say to me, oh, you like Olands? Like, that's, it's seen as a man's drink. Well, it's not, because a lady made Olands. So cool. Anyway, she died in Richmond, Virginia. And she was on vacation there. I believe she died of something like pneumonia. Let me see. Susanna Oland. Oh, rheumatism. She got old. 1885. That's Susanna Oland. That's wherever you are in here. You have my dearest respect, Susanna Oland. I should do a bigger story on her. But yeah, okay. If you're still here after me babbling about going on an adventure, I appreciate it. And that is the death records of the day.